The Wehrmacht Equipment Intelligence Briefing that reached General Wilhelm Keitel's OKW headquarters in Berlin during February 1945 contained edged weapons statistics that seemed to defy every principle of precision blade manufacturing and military equipment capacity. The classified document claimed that American factories had produced over 12 million combat knives since Pearl Harbor, suggesting production capabilities that violated fundamental assumptions about precision blade construction and wartime weapons manufacturing limitations. This is weapons propaganda designed to exaggerate Allied equipment capabilities, General Keitel declared to his equipment staff, studying reconnaissance photographs of American knife factories that showed blade production operations spanning entire industrial facilities. Combat knives are precision cutting instruments requiring skilled individual craftsmanship. No weapons industry possesses the manufacturing capacity to produce 12 million precision combat blades. These Americans must be including utility knives and civilian cutlery in their military weapons statistics. These were experienced German equipment officers who understood blade production through decades of precision metalworking and systematic weapons management that had created Europe's most sophisticated military edged weapons through systematic quality control and technological excellence. The concept of mass-produced combat knives seemed to violate fundamental principles of blade manufacturing that demanded individual attention over assembly speed. They could not fathom they were witnessing the greatest combat knife production achievement in weapons history, or that American factories would demonstrate how democratic industrial organization could manufacture edged weapons at rates that would overwhelm German blade excellence through unprecedented numerical superiority and continuous replacement capability that rendered individual weapon quality strategically irrelevant. If you want to discover more incredible stories of how American industrial supremacy revolutionized modern warfare, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. General Wilhelm Keitel stood within the Wehrmacht weapons depot in Berlin, embodying German confidence in edged weapon superiority through innovative blade design and systematic metalworking excellence. As chief of the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, Keitel represented German assumptions about weapon quality triumphing over quantity through superior technology, individual blade excellence, and professional weapons standards that had established German military equipment manufacturing discipline. German combat knife production that Keitel understood included meticulous craftsmanship, individual attention to blade specifications, and systematic quality control that created superior weapons through careful engineering and metallurgical optimization. German factories produced combat knives like precision military instruments rather than mass-manufactured products, emphasizing technological excellence over production volume through artisanal manufacturing approaches that prioritized individual blade perfection. The sophisticated edged weapons that German military employed included advanced combat knives, innovative bayonets, and specialized blades that represented pinnacle achievements in weapons engineering through systematic development and operational experience. German engineering had solved complex metallurgical challenges that produced knives exceeding Allied weapons through individual excellence and precision manufacturing. Intelligence analysis of Allied combat knife production suggested enemy forces remained constrained by conventional weapons limitations, precision engineering requirements, and industrial bottlenecks that prevented massive blade expansion. German weapons planners calculated that Allied knife production would require decades to match German technological capabilities while maintaining acceptable cutting performance standards through traditional manufacturing methods. Strategic doctrine that incorporated German weapons advantages assumed technological superiority would enable continued combat effectiveness through superior blade performance and systematic training. Democratic armies could allegedly never achieve rapid expansion and quantity-focused weapons approaches while maintaining individual knife excellence that characterized German weapons superiority through precision engineering and professional blade development. Economic calculations performed by German weapons economists revealed Allied industrial capacity divided between civilian knife production and limited military requirements, suggesting resource constraints that prevented total conversion to military combat knife manufacturing. Steel allocation and skilled metalworking technicians appeared insufficient for massive knife production programs, requiring specialized engineering and precision manufacturing techniques. Cultural assumptions about American weapons industrial organization suggested inefficient production methods and profit-motivated rather than strategically focused approaches that would prevent systematic military blade manufacturing. German weapons ideology characterized democratic industry as wasteful and disorganized, compared to German systematic efficiency and specialized metalworking technological discipline that prioritized individual knife quality. Combat statistics from German blade operations seem to validate German assumptions about weapons effectiveness and technological advantages over Allied equipment forces worldwide. German military units had achieved remarkable tactical success through superior knife performance and systematic blade training that appeared impossible for mass-produced enemy weapons to match through quantity alone. Weapons philosophy that German military forces emphasized included individual knife excellence, blade proficiency development, and systematic weapons experience accumulation that created elite combat units through rigorous selection and professional advancement. German forces prioritized quality over quantity in both knives and personnel, reflecting confidence that superior individual performance would achieve victory through technological and weapons advantages. William F. Roper, president of Case Cutlery Company, walked through the sprawling Bradford knife manufacturing facilities, observing revolutionary production techniques that would transform combat knife manufacturing through industrial mass production methods adapted for military warfare. The civilian cutlery executive was applying innovative production expertise to sophisticated blade construction with systematic efficiency that would fundamentally challenge German assumptions about weapons manufacturing limitations. The combat knife program that American industry developed represented complete departure from traditional blade manufacturing that emphasized individual craftsmanship over systematic mass production for military operations. American knife design prioritized cutting reliability, durability effectiveness, and assembly line production capability rather than technological sophistication alone, enabling manufacturing rates that completely exceeded German weapons industrial calculations and strategic planning assumptions. Assembly line techniques that Case Cutlery employed included revolutionary metalworking production methods, systematically adapted for complex knife manufacturing through organized workflow, standardized components, and continuous production that eliminated traditional blade manufacturing bottlenecks. American industrial experience had created unprecedented manufacturing efficiency that surpassed specialized weapon production through civilian innovation applied to military blade engineering. Workforce mobilization supporting knife production included revolutionary numbers of workers entering precision metalworking while maintaining comprehensive training programs that created skilled personnel adequate for complex blade assembly operations. Democratic educational systems produced abundant human resources through competitive instruction, merit-based advancement, and systematic weapons manufacturing skills development that exceeded traditional knife production workforce limitations. Supply chain coordination across American knife manufacturing included specialized steel delivery from multiple continental sources, handle materials from dedicated manufacturers, and thousands of blade components from hundreds of suppliers whose production was synchronized through systematic logistics management. Materials coordination exceeded German organizational capabilities through democratic industrial cooperation and competitive resource allocation that enabled unprecedented knife production rates. Quality control procedures ensured knife reliability through systematic testing protocols, continuous inspection processes, and rigorous cutting performance validation that maintained weapons effectiveness while enabling unprecedented mass production rates. American knife manufacturing had achieved consistent quality through scientific methods rather than traditional individual craftsmanship attention, proving that systematic approaches could maintain weapons standards while enabling mass production. Innovation acceleration continued throughout knife development, as American engineers continuously improved blade specifications while maintaining aggressive production schedules that traditional methods could never sustain. Competitive pressure encouraged rapid advancement that exceeded conventional weapons development cycles, while ensuring manufacturing compatibility and sustained production capability that traditional approaches could never achieve. Strategic planning that incorporated massive knife deployment included comprehensive weapons, tactical doctrine development, and operational coordination that would maximize blade effectiveness across global theaters. American military strategy integrated production advantages into comprehensive campaign planning that assumed virtually unlimited knife availability and continuous weapons supply capability. Manufacturing excellence that knife production achieved included cutting reliability, durability performance, and weapons effectiveness that exceeded traditional blade development while maintaining mass production compatibility. American industry had proven that systematic manufacturing could produce effective knives without sacrificing performance, demonstrating democratic advantages in combining adequate technology with industrial abundance through competitive innovation. March 1945. German intelligence documentation of American knife production revealed weapons statistics that challenged every fundamental assumption about blade manufacturing and weapons industrial possibility worldwide. American factories were producing over 500,000 combat knives monthly, while maintaining simultaneous production across dozens of facilities that collectively exceeded total German weapons manufacturing capacity by incomprehensible margins that seemed mathematically impossible. Mathematical analysis that German weapons planners performed revealed American knife production approaching 12 million total units since Pearl Harbor, while German blade production struggled to maintain 1 million knives across all weapons plants and facilities. Enemy industrial capabilities had achieved systematic abundance that completely violated traditional assumptions about precision knife manufacturing, complexity, and specialized metalworking engineering requirements. Statistical verification through multiple intelligence sources confirmed American knife production that included standardized components, revolutionary assembly line manufacturing, and systematic quality control that enabled mathematically impossible production rates for combat weapons. Enemy manufacturing had achieved unprecedented efficiency that exceeded German weapons industrial organization through democratic competitive methods and civilian metalworking expertise applied to military production. Photographic reconnaissance of American knife facilities revealed production techniques that completely eliminated individual blade craftsmanship in favor of systematic manufacturing approaches directly adapted from civilian cutlery industry methods for military applications. Democratic weapons industrial organization had achieved military production through competitive rather than centralized authoritarian methods and systematic resource optimization. Economic calculations demonstrated American knife expenditure that exceeded entire German weapons budgets while simultaneously maintaining civilian cutlery production and comprehensive international assistance programs. Democratic capitalism had achieved resource abundance that centralized command economy methods could never duplicate through systematic efficiency and competitive innovation in knife manufacturing that rendered German economic assumptions obsolete. Supply chain analysis revealed American knife manufacturing coordinated across continental distances with material flows that dramatically exceeded German logistical capabilities and organizational systems. Enemy industrial organization demonstrated systematic coordination that exceeded authoritarian central planning through competitive cooperation and democratic resource allocation methods in weapons production that achieved efficiency through civilian expertise. Technology assessment based on captured American combat knives revealed manufacturing quality that maintained cutting effectiveness while being produced in quantities that German industry considered physically impossible without sacrificing performance specifications. Mass production had achieved consistent reliability through systematic scientific methods rather than individual attention and specialized approaches that characterized German knife manufacturing philosophy. Performance analysis of recovered American blades demonstrated that mass production had achieved cutting reliability, durability effectiveness, and weapons performance that proved adequate for warfare while being manufactured at impossible scales. Systematic engineering had proven effective in producing functional knives through competitive innovation and scientific manufacturing approaches rather than traditional blade craftsmanship. The statistical impossibility had become undeniable strategic reality that forced German acknowledgement of democratic advantages in weapons industrial organization that exceeded authoritarian alternatives through competitive efficiency and systematic abundance in knife production that would fundamentally alter infantry warfare through blade superiority rather than individual technological excellence. June 1944. The massive Allied infantry operations across Europe revealed devastating effectiveness of American knife production, as over 2 million combat knives equipped Allied forces while maintaining weapons reserves that exceeded German total blade inventory. The mathematical superiority of American manufacturing had translated into overwhelming weapons dominance that rendered German blade philosophy strategically obsolete through systematic knife abundance. Tactical deployment that American knife abundance enabled included multiple infantry divisions operating simultaneously across European theaters while maintaining weapons capabilities that German forces could never counter despite individual blade superiority and combat training advantages. American production had eliminated traditional weapons constraints through systematic abundance and continuous knife supply that exceeded conventional infantry warfare limitations. German military commanders discovered combat situations where capturing individual American weapons achieved minimal strategic impact because American knife reserves exceeded German acquisition capabilities through numerical abundance. Mathematical relationships had shifted decisively toward Allied infantry forces through manufacturing capacity rather than individual combat effectiveness or blade excellence that had characterized traditional infantry warfare approaches. Combat statistics from sustained European operations documented German weapons shortages that could not equip extended units, while Allied infantry forces maintained blade strength through continuous knife production and systematic weapons replacement programs. Weapons abundance had created tactical sustainability that exceeded German response possibilities and resource allocation capabilities through democratic blade organization. Intelligence analysis by German weapons commands revealed American production capabilities that dramatically exceeded strategic planning assumptions while demonstrating blade organization that surpassed authoritarian efficiency through democratic, competitive methods. Enemy capabilities had achieved systematic advantages that traditional military weapons could not anticipate or counter effectively through conventional blade conservation tactics. Psychological impact on German infantry personnel included recognition that individual combat excellence could not influence strategic outcomes when facing opponents with unlimited knife capabilities and continuous weapons reinforcement. Tactical blade effectiveness had become strategically meaningless against American production abundance and systematic knife deployment that exceeded traditional infantry warfare mathematics. Operational advantages that American knife production provided included weapons availability, blade replacement, and sustained combat capability that maintained infantry effectiveness under extended campaigns across multiple theaters. Systematic weapons operations exceeded German capabilities despite blade conservation advantages and theoretically superior weapons coordination. Combat capabilities that knife abundance enabled included sustained infantry operations, continuous close combat support, and weapons flexibility that German forces could never counter through individual blade excellence. American production had created operational sustainability that exceeded traditional weapons limitations through systematic abundance and knife adequacy. The Allied blade deployment demonstrated American weapons production had fundamentally altered infantry warfare mathematics through knife capabilities that rendered traditional blade conservation obsolete when facing systematic abundance, combined with adequate performance and continuous weapons supply capability. May 8, 1945. As Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally following complete Allied weapons superiority, the final accounting of American knife production revealed numbers that had redefined infantry warfare. Over 12 million combat knives manufactured through revolutionary assembly line methods that averaged 35,000 completed blades daily at peak production, creating weapons capabilities that had overwhelmed German blade conservation through unprecedented systematic abundance. Strategic validation that American knife production provided confirmed industrial mobilization as the decisive factor in modern infantry warfare, while demonstrating democratic advantages in manufacturing organization, resource allocation, and technological application that exceeded totalitarian alternatives through competitive innovation and systematic efficiency optimization. Democratic weapons industrial organization had proven superior to authoritarian approaches through mathematical evidence that could not be disputed. General Keitel's post-war acknowledgement included recognition that German blade mastery had been strategically defeated by American production capabilities that exceeded every calculation of democratic industrial potential and knife manufacturing capacity. Mass production manufacturing had rendered individual weapons excellence strategically irrelevant through overwhelming blade superiority and coordinated knife deployment that exceeded traditional military weapons approaches. Economic efficiency that American knife production achieved included dramatic cost reduction through volume manufacturing while maintaining cutting effectiveness that exceeded traditional weapons development methods. Competitive capitalism had proven systematically superior to command economy organization for sustained knife production and technological advancement across global operations through democratic resource allocation and competitive innovation processes. International cooperation through American knife deployment included comprehensive weapons transfers to Allied forces that enhanced collective infantry capabilities while demonstrating American production capacity far beyond domestic requirements. Democratic values had created sustainable assistance through systematic blade sharing and strategic generosity programs that exceeded traditional military alliance approaches through competitive manufacturing. Technological legacy of American knife production influenced post-war weapons industry through revolutionary manufacturing techniques, systematic blade principles, and scientific quality control methods that transformed global weapons production standards. Scientific advancement had created lasting advantages through systematic research and competitive innovation processes that exceeded traditional weapons approaches through civilian cutlery expertise applied to military production. Supply systems that knife abundance enabled included accelerated weapons programs, adequate blade availability for training, and systematic knife development that created weapons resources sufficient for expanded military capabilities. American military education had produced blade personnel through competitive instruction and merit-based advancement that exceeded traditional conservation development approaches. Manufacturing innovation that enabled American knife success demonstrated democratic society's ability to coordinate massive weapons resources through systematic planning and competitive efficiency rather than authoritarian control. Democratic systems had produced blade capabilities that exceeded totalitarian alternatives through systematic coordination, competitive innovation, and merit-based operational advancement that proved democratic advantages. The Blade Triumph had proven that democratic industrial organization could achieve systematic advantages over traditional weapons conservation through competitive innovation, systematic manufacturing, and abundant production that totalitarian knife systems could never match through centralized control, individual craftsmanship, or authoritarian resource allocation alone in blade manufacturing and infantry warfare. If this incredible story of how American assembly line knife production overwhelmed German weapons conservation through systematic abundance amazed you, make sure to subscribe for more tales of democratic weapons triumph.